I'm in the middle of an Airbnb. I'm recording this on my laptop. Um, I'm halfway across the freaking world right now. So nailed it. Nailed it. We still recording? Gosh, I hope so. I'm recording this on my laptop. I'm in beautiful Vancouver, British Columbia. Not really. I'm kind of on the outskirts. And this trip was planned. We left. Actually, so the season 1, episode 1. No, sorry. Season 4, episode 1 of the Barely Cool podcast featuring me, Judah Middle, Ben Routley. That came out Thursday of last week. What day was that? March frickin' 12th? March frickin' 13th? Season 4, episode 1 came out March 13th. My wife and I were already here. We already fricked off to Vancouver on March 12th. And Ben and I recorded that episode the Monday of that week. And we I knew I wanted to record 2, but we just didn't have the time. And it was kind of like we'll deal with this later, figure it out later kind of thing. And now we are here, and it's currently Wednesday, March 19th. Midnight of Wednesday, just turned Wednesday. And I realized we didn't have a freaking episode, and our plane is not, I'm not going to be home in time. So, starting season 4 off strong, episode 2, season 4, episode 2, with like a solo episode recorded on my laptop with horrible audio. The video's not good. I couldn't figure out this. I'm like recording my screen or something. Maybe if I, oh shoot. No, not that. Okay, never mind. It took me forever to set that bit up. What a waste of time. Bit? Just kidding. That's always there. Yeah, man. Freaking. So anyway, I thought there was talks about doing like a Zoom episode with Ben. But I don't know if that's gonna work. And then we're not gonna be home in time to record together. And so you know what? I was like, by the time I texted him and realized like, oh shoot, like. I don't know if we can do the Zoom episode, or we had a bit of time tonight, but by the time I texted him with the time difference, he's asleep, I think. So, I thought, well, what if I could make this funny by doing it, this way? And so, yeah, I'm in an Airbnb, just kind of hanging out. I've been enjoying the West Coast. I'm kind of in that West Coast lifestyle. Slow it down. Everything's slower out here. Where is everybody in a rush? The speed limit is the speed limit. Not really. Kind of. People are a little bit slower out here. And fitting into that, we got a rental car, and I was already like kind of paranoid about that because I'm like, okay, so every place you're in, the rules of the road are a little different, little subtleties. Some of them aren't so subtle. Huge difference. Freaking. Okay, let me set the scene. You're in Ontario, driving your 2006 Chevy Prius, your Toyota, who gives a frick, and you come up to an intersection, you want to turn left, right? You're in the left turn lane. It's not really a left turn lane though. It's like just the left lane. And light goes green, but it's flashing green. What does that mean? Well, that's a protected left. That's an advance. You get to go. Not here. Not here. You could get yourself freaking killed doing that here. You could get yourself freaking killed doing that. Flashing green means it's a pedestrian controlled light here. Now, you might be thinking, Judah, what does that mean? Pedestrian controlled light. What the H? What the HE double hell sticks? Sorry, I keep noticing that like how I've positioned my desktop background, it looks like that's my body. Um, but so it's distracting me. What was I saying? Oh, pedestrian controlled intersection. So I guess it's flashing to let you know that a pedestrian could be there, and they could hit the walk button, which I think, obviously, then starts the yellow. But it's not like immediate, I don't think. And also, like, my question is like, why do I care? Like, whether I know that it like, I thought that's how they all worked, right? Like the pedestrian hits the button, which means it will speed up the timer to switch out the lights. I thought. I don't know. I don't know why it affects me really to know whether it's flashing and pedestrian controlled or whether the light's on a timer. If it's green, I go. If it's yellow, I slow. And if it's red, I know. I don't know. So that's one thing. That's a subtle difference. But I was kind of nervous because like we got a rental car, and I'm like, man, I want to blend in, right? Like I don't want to look like a tourist. I want to drive the way people here drive. So if people are driving, in my opinion, too frickin' slow, am I right on fellow Ontarians? 30 over is 30 over is actually what you should be driving. Um, I want to, if that's what people are doing, I'm going to do it. I'm going to drive the way the people here are driving. And so, we get into the rental car and we're driving and we got the rental car late, like late at night. So there's not a lot of people driving around. And I'm like, holy frick, I don't even know. I don't even know the little idiosyncrasies of the area. Like, are we even allowed to turn right on a red? So I'm getting her to Google it while I'm driving, but because like worst case Ontario, like I get pulled over, the cop's like, hey, can I see your license? Oh, Ontario, not surprised. I don't want that, so I'm trying to blend in. Sure, friggin' enough, the rental car we have Alberta plates. And I asked around, and apparently that's like the equivalent of when you're driving and you're on like to all my Ontario peeps, all my peeps in Ontario. When you're driving and you see someone like you're on the highway and you see someone kind of, you know, 10 cars up, they're kind of like swerving. They don't really know what they're doing, driving slow, driving too fast, all this stuff. And then you get closer and you're like, oh, of course, Quebec plates. You don't know what you're freaking doing over here, do you? Apparently that's Alberta here. And so great, now I got this friggin' rental car with Alberta plates and everyone. So yeah, sometimes I'm not doing the right thing, or it seems to be like in some places we were driving, speed limit, everyone's going the speed limit. Any faster, I feel like a maniac. But in other places, I'm going the speed limit. People are whipping by me. So now everyone's looking at me like, oh, this guy's a tool from Alberta. I'm not. I'm a tool from Ontario. But they don't know that. Just now realized I have no way to see how long I've been recording. So that's good. I think I think like 7 minutes. That seems way too long. 4 minutes? Shoot. I don't know. Let's say 4 minutes. Okay, yeah. Let's say 4 minutes and okay. Um Yeah, so we're out here enjoying the beautiful West Coast, laid back lifestyle in an Airbnb. Um, Went to Stanley Park. Guys, you guys, so beautiful, you guys, so pretty, so beautiful and pretty, you guys. Um, almost as pretty as this guy. Whoa. Okay. For those of you audio only listeners, if you're driving in your car, oh, and I gotta explain that. I'm doing a hand motion of driving. I'm, doing the steering wheel. For those of you audio only listeners, I was doing, you're in your podcast or you're in your car listening to your podcast, doing the steering wheel thing. You might be like, oh, what was that? What was that little thing you just did? Well, let me set the scene visually. Um, Guys, if you're watching on video, just like tune out for like 6 seconds, okay? Not everything's about you. I'm on my laptop and I set it up so that I have the video of me overlaid over the desktop where I made the picture Ben. Riveting stuff, you guys. Glad you waited for that. Video listeners, tune back in. Plug those ears back in. This one's for you. Oh yeah. What if I do a joke just for the video guys? That was good. That's funny. Audio listeners, you'll never know what that was, and I'll never ever tell. You could waterboard me, and I'll never say it. You could take me to Guantanamo Bay and torture me. Torture, finger quotes. And I'll never tell you what bit I did just for the video listeners there. And the reason I did finger quotes on torturing is because America doesn't torture, or whatever the heck. They just don't. Uh, by definition, because they do it, that means it must not be torture or whatever. Whatever the frick they do in that messed up hellhole. Not up here. We don't do bad stuff up here. We're normal and good. We're normally good, and we don't do bad stuff ever in this country. We don't have a history of doing bad stuff ever, ever, never. Um, yeah. So, for those of you who don't know, no, who cares? I was gonna go into my life story. I was just gonna go into my life story about how I was actually born out here on the West Coast, and when I come back and I visit and I see those mountains rising up in the distance, gosh, it just kind of speaks to my soul, kind of speaks to the blood that runs through these veins. Because I don't know, maybe it's just because I was where I first breathed air. It was this mountain air, where I first came into existence was out here on this plane of existence, this West Coast kind of reality. So now, as an adult, I come out here and just to visit, but it's almost like those mountains are calling me home in a way, in some fricked up kind of cosmic way. It's like my blood is BC blood, and I don't mean barely cool when I say that. Oh no, sir, I mean BC, British Columbia. Where did British Columbia get its name? Guys, we're going to enter the learning segment of this podcast. Well, sorry. Someone just messaged me on Instagram. Let's see what that was about. That's more important than what I'm doing. Who named British Columbia? Okay, blah, 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 blah. Wikipedia, find in page. I'm not reading this whole thing. I know that's right. Name. Origin of the name. Probably Columbia District. The originator of the territory drained by the Columbia River. Who named the Columbia River? Who named the Columbia River? Who named it? Find in page. Name. That doesn't help me. Who named the Columbia River? Gosh, we're going out of naming the Columbia River. Named in 1792. Wait, did I miss it? I just read this whole thing. Oh, some American captain of a ship crossed the river. His fur, vessel was named Columbia Rediviva. So you named the river after the ship, and then the province is named after the river. Added British because it was named by Queen Victoria. And we've just left it? We just went, okay, good enough? We couldn't have come up with something cooler? There's a river. There's a river not too far from here. Or maybe it's a lake. It's a lake called Mike Lake. Not Mike like microphone. Mike like a guy. Mike Lake. And we thought, British Columbia was fine, I guess. We should rename it. We should rename it. We should honestly rename all of, and I'm not talking about the states. I'm not trying to, you guys do your own stupid garbage down there. Here's what I'm thinking. Everything with new in the name. Just rename it. New Brunswick. Newfoundland. Newfoundland? Are you kidding me? We're leaving that? I don't know. I don't know about that. Nova Scotia. Does that mean new? Does Nova mean new? Could it? Oh my gosh. We're Googling it. Who named Nova Scotia? Who named Nova Scotia? New Scotland. Holy frick, I knew it. New names. We need new names. At least with Nova Scotia, it kind of sounds like, it kind of sounds like it could be its own thing. But I kind of had an inkling. I kind of had a feeling. Like it's like nuevo, Does that mean new? I don't know. We got to rename them because they're not new anymore. And I know that sounds like a boomer kind of stand-up comedian. Like, it's not so New York. Not really new anymore, is it? It's been around a while. New York. Huh. Funny calling it New York. It's not that new. But I mean, genuinely, it's like, what are we doing? You can just come up with a new name for reals. It's long since been passed. Like New York is named after York, which is in the UK. No, right? And isn't America's whole deal that they don't like those British idiots? Those British foppish dandies? But they kept it. They said New York, that's pretty friggin' sweet. New York, huh? Okay, I like the sound of that. I like the sound of that, New York. New York, huh? Ain't that something? New Amsterdam, not into that. New York, though. Oh, ooh. Anyway, so yeah, I sound like a boomer, but genuinely, I don't understand. Pick a new name. British Columbia. Named after a river, named after a ship, added British to it. Why? I don't know. I feel like we could come up with something cooler. And not even, like, again, oh, here comes libtard Judah with his stupid snowflake opinions. But, like, a lot of this crap had names already, right? By native and indigenous people. Couldn't we? Oh my gosh, can you imagine? Can you imagine the firestorm that would happen by angry people who care too much about stuff? I mean, I guess that's what I'm doing. I care too much about a name. Just leave it as British Columbia, I guess, if you want to be the cool based doesn't care about anything guy or whatever. But Can you imagine the nightmare it would be if they tried to like be like, oh guys, British Columbia is not called British Columbia anymore. It's gonna be called. It's gonna be. Okay, wait. Give me a second. I'm gonna. Give me a second. I don't know how to pronounce this. The Columbia River was once called the Wimmel or the Wymel River. So then, okay, it's like, okay, the place was named after the river. So British Columbia should just be called Wymel. Wimmel? Wymel? Wymel? Uh, maybe we should do that. Or name, like you name it something indigenous. Oh my gosh, people would freak out. People would not like that. No, they would not. People don't like that for some reason. Well, when I grew up, it was this. When I grew up, it was this. Remember, guys, if you're old enough, remember when they changed to the metric system in Canada and all the people who freaked out about that? And now it's kind of like a weird thing people talk about online as like a point of superiority with America. People didn't want to do that. It was a whole thing. When did they change? I remember learning that it was not that long ago. 1975. That wasn't that long ago. Before then, not metric. The other one, imperial. Hmm. Interesting. Interesting. Huh. So, basically what I'm saying is we could change, but people now seem to have so much harder time with change. I think because change is happening so rapidly, not to get all sort of philosophical, anthropological, sociological, but change is happening at such a rapid rate, it seems, in a lot of ways, culturally at least. Um, there were periods of change a lot quicker in a lot of other places of the world. And honestly, maybe I don't even know what I'm talking about. Someone's going to come on here. Well, actually, in the Roman Empire, it changed, cultural change much more quickly. But, you know, old people, I think, feel like culture is changing very quickly. And so um, maybe that's why there's such a pushback to change. I don't know. If someone came on the news today and said, "Hey, folks, British Columbia is not going to be called this anymore. British Columbia is going to be called." See, here's the thing: is my brain immediately went, "How do you make something funny out of this? Do you go for like a funny sounding word, like lamp piss, or something like that, or do you, whatever?" But you change British Columbia's name to lamp piss, and um, that wouldn't affect me at all, to be honest. Well, it would. I'd have to like remember it, I guess. Retain a new piece of information, as if that's the hardest thing I've ever had to do. Is that what it is? Is that why people get so upset? Because it's just about learning something? People don't like learning as adults? Maybe we should look inwardly and think. Maybe we have an issue with learning. Hmm. Something. Well, yeah, I wouldn't care. Who cares? I have to do that every year when the date changes at New Year's, and I go, oh, whoops, 2024. Oh, I'm still doing that. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I just did that again. I wrote 2024. I know, it always happens. Oh, it's a pen. I won't. Can I just cross it out, or oh, you want me to do a new form? Okay, that's fine. I'll just do a new form. Sorry. Oh, you're not gonna believe it. Yeah, no, I did it on this one too. Sorry. No, I'm really sorry. I know I wasn't on purpose. Yeah. So, who cares? I think British Columbia is a stupid name. I honestly do. Because it's like there's a place in the world called Columbia, which is not even spelled like this. It's spelled with an O and not a U, I believe. Colombia. Yeah, Columbia. Columbia, British Columbia, Columbia. So now there's a place called Columbia, and then there's a place called British Columbia, but it's not. They're not. No relation. The hell's that about? Doesn't make any sense. And we've just left it. And when you really go back to the history, it's just kind of like, who cares? some guy named a river, which already had a name to the people around it, but obviously, I get it, whatever. We call it Germany, not Deutschland. We kind of come up with our own names for stuff, but um, and then after that they just went, oh yeah, I guess the mainland will be called after the river, name it after the river, and then we're British, so slap that on there. Holy frick! Isn't that awesome? Isn't that awesome? Just doing that, being like, it's basically like the naming equivalent of just sticking a flag down. What do you call this place? Wow. You call it my home. Actually, it's called British My Home now. And it's my home. British My Home. I like the sound of that. Wow, British My Home. Got a nice ring to it. Wow. Stupid. And then yeah, the whole new thing. New Scotland. New found land. That might be the worst. Doesn't it's Oh my gosh, when you actually think about how stupid that is. Hey guys, we found land. New, it's new this time. I guess that's what we'll call it. New found land. Oh, it's too long. No, we're gonna make it one word. So it's easy. And then we'll make fun of people for pronouncing it like Newfoundland, even though that's what it is. It's gonna be Newfoundland. So that it tricks you into thinking it's not a stupid name. Oh no, it's a different word, you guys. My name's not Judah Tiny Penis, it's Judah Tinipenis. Like it does. What are we doing? Oh man. Yeah, Newfoundland's the dumbest for sure. Just like the people. Whoa! Just kidding. Although here's the thing, I'm gonna start talking about newfies. Um, is okay. Okay. Here's. Oh my gosh, so many thoughts rushing into my brain at once. um, Growing up, for those of you unaware, those of you in America, newfies are kind of like the butt of a lot of jokes. At least they were around where I grew up. Kind of like a blonde joke or like a dumb southerner joke. It's like, oh, how many newfies does it take to screw in a light bulb? They're still figuring out how fire works, or not fireworks, but how fire. They're still figuring out fire. And I made that up off the dome, but and so that was a thing. But I'm kind of wondering, because newfies, people from Newfoundland, are kind of like also incredibly patriotic about it, like weirdly about Newfoundland. It's kind of like a point of pride, and so I'm almost wondering, like, where is it a chicken and an egg situation? Is it they got made fun of? Okay, well, actually, let's go a step back. Did newfies get make fun of because they're dumb, or did they grow into fitting the stereotype? I'm just kidding. Did newfies become so proud of where they're from as like a pushback to the joke, or do the jokes exist because they're a people group that is easily identifiable by just where they're from in Canada, and you gotta have an easy scapegoat. Um, I would wager, if I was a betting man, I would wager that part of the pride, the Newfie pride, is in the fact that so many jokes are made. So, it's like, whoa, screw you, actually. I love being a Newfie. Because, like, all the time, not all the time, but, it's very frequently, that's the same as all the time, basically. It's not uncommon. That's the best phrasing. It's not uncommon to be driving around, especially in Ontario. You see, a truck or car or whatever, vehicle. On the back, there's a sticker. And the sticker is the silhouette, the shape of Newfoundland. Sometimes it's just that, like it's just white. But a lot of the times it's doubly so. Where it's the shape of Newfoundland, which, by the way, has a ton of little freaking dots and islands. And it's also it's not all white. The fill of the image or the graphic is the flag of Newfoundland. So there's a huge sense of pride coming from Newfoundland, and like that's crazy to me. Um, I I genuinely would have a better time drawing the Newfoundland flag than drawing the flag of Ontario. I don't see it. You don't see it that often. I have no clue. I think it's red. I'm gonna Google it. I think it's red. I think it's red, and it's got a coat of arms or whatever. But to tell you what was on it, no clue. And then it's got the frickin' Union Jack or whatever the hell. Ontario flag. The only flags that I knew, it is red. What's got? Oh yeah, no, I wouldn't. I would forget that. It's this guy. Check that out. Video only, exclusive. But yeah, so I don't know. I don't know what that is. I don't, and also honestly, I don't even know where I was going with that. The whole Newfie thing. But it is odd to me to see like how prideful they are about like just coming from a place. Um, and it's not like an East Coast thing because you don't really see that with Nova Scotia. You don't see that with New Brunswick. You don't see that with PEI, Prince Edward Island. By the way, could probably also use a new name. I don't know. Personally, that's just my opinion. Yeah, I don't know. It's very weird. Very, very, very weird. The BC flag is good. I like the BC flag. I knew that one. Um, but again, you don't really. You'll see it occasionally. Very, very rarely. Um, but the Newfie thing, it's just like you put your it on your chest, and sometimes okay, and that's the thing about Newfies too is like I know people. I grew up with people, you know, very proudly saying like, "Oh, I'm a Newfie." I'm like, "Oh, were you born there?" No, but my parents are Newfies. Oh, it's not an ethnicity. Like you're not. It's not a nationality even. What are you talking about? It doesn't make any. What are you talking about? Um, doesn't make any sense. I don't get that. I don't get that. It's not like in your blood. Me? I'm a BC boy, born and raised for a couple of years, but I was born. Was born in BC. You're trying to claim Newfieism, being a Newfie, and you weren't even born there? What the heck? That doesn't make no dang 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 sense. But anyway, so yeah, I'm out west right now. All of that was to say, I'm out west. How are you guys doing? Let's look at that picture of Ben again. Nice. Gosh, he looks cute. Gosh, he looks cute. Don't he? Tony? Don't he? Don't he? Um, yeah. Went to Stanley Park. Stanley Park was nice. A little confusing that it's kind of all a one way. So like we yeah, I don't know what we did. Now that I think about it. When we drove there, it was a weird path. We went to the aquarium. That was pretty cool. Holy frick, the aquarium was actually crazy. First off, okay. Couple things about the Vancouver Aquarium. Ripley's Aquarium sort of has Ripley's Aquarium in Toronto. Sort of has like a through path in a way. Like it's at least the first little bit of it is very like this is just you're going one way. Um, and then after that, a little bit more open. But the Vancouver Aquarium is just like here's all the crap. Go look at whatever rate, pace, area you want. Start wherever you want, whatever. So that was cool. I liked that. They had like a very like local like oh here's the stuff you'll see in BC. I thought that was very cool. Um, but okay, first thing they have like a what was it called like a slow movers exhibit downstairs, and it was just fish, not fish or nothing. Like they had a sloth. Huh? A sloth at the aquarium? What are we talking about? Doesn't. What do you mean? What does that mean? Monkeys. They had monkeys. They had a little so they had like a tropical fish area, but then they had like a section for like the Amazon, where it's like where water meets land or whatever. And then yeah, a little guided area, and yeah, monkeys, birds. What? That's not fish. You stay in your freaking lane. Um, but then outside, which apparently where they used to keep like dolphins and orcas and stuff. Yeesh, until they realized like that's not good. Um, they have like some seals and sea lions and crap. Um, dude, what? Those first off, massive, massive creatures. Some of them, but um, they've got these like placards. So you just see them. They're sunning in the sun, uh, and it's like, oh, here, meet Senor Cinco. Ooh, who's Senor Cinco? Look at this guy. Awesome. First thing, Senor Cinco is blind because he was shot in the head. Excuse me? And then they're like, oh yeah, we rescued him. We rehabilitated him. There's a friggin' X-ray with shrapnel of his skull. First off, okay, the world is a scary, dark, awful place. Who the hell? I'm like tearing up. I'm getting angry. At the aquarium thinking about who the hell would shoot Senor Cinco in the face. Insane. Then you keep moving. Oh, here's Jessica Seal. Funny name. Little play on words. Jessica Biel. Jessica Seal is blind because she was shot in the face. What are we talking about? What do you mean? And then, sure enough, same thing. Shot with birdshot. Little pellets in her head. Here's the x-ray. What is wrong with you people? And also, like, are you just trying to make me cry? Like, why are you telling me this? I guess it's information about the critter. But why are you telling me? Is this to be like, oh, for all you people who want to shoot a seal in the face, don't, because they might go blind? Oh, shoot, great. I would have until I read the placard. What? Anyway, that was crazy to me. Two creatures? One was a seal and one was a sea lion? Shot in the face? And they're blind? Now? Crazy. But we went to the aquarium and it was a nightmare to get there. Not really, but it was a little annoying because Stanley Park's a one way. Saw the totem poles. That was very cool. Did a little bit of a walk on the seawall. That was awesome. Um, yeah, it was nice. It was beautiful. We had some good weather. You kind of expect, oh, it's going to rain the whole time or whatever. Got some rain for sure. Got some snow too. Brought it here with us, folks. Because apparently it's like gorgeous back home, but whatever. Who cares? Not me. Um, did some tattooing out here. That was cool. What else? What else did we get up to? You're always catching up with people. People, oh, old friends, whatever. That was beautiful. Um, yeah, it's just stunning out here. It's gorgeous. It's beautiful. We have ours. We have our landmarks too. In Ontario, we've got the 401, um, the Science Center, RIP, the hole that was once Ontario Place. It's just Canada's beautiful all across. See, the thing with this podcast is when you have a podcast with Ben specifically, you're not talking the whole time, right? You're kind of, sometimes listening, sometimes talking, responding, ha ha ha, he he he. I'm losing my voice. I don't know how solo podcasters do it. Um, the hell was that? I just heard I don't even know what that was. It's not even a bit. Oh, frick. It's like a little. I don't know if it was like a bag crinkling or. Hate that. Hate that. Awful. That's awful, and I hate it, and it's awful. We were at a coffee shop today, and I didn't see it. I won't name the coffee shop, but we were at a coffee shop today, and with some friends, and I guess I was facing away, and like I was like, "Oh, what was that?" And they're like, "Oh, I think that was a mouse." Which, like, they're kind of everywhere. You kind of can't avoid it in the food industry a little bit. I feel like I don't know. Maybe I'd rather think that they're there and whatever, and then they not be, but um, hate it in a house. So I'm like hyper aware of it. We've had like mice in our apartment before, like one mouse, but I'm like so hyper aware to like little crinkling noises and crap. Because when it was happening, when I don't know if we ever, I'm sure we were talking about it on the podcast when it was going on, but like I felt like I was getting gaslit because I was aware of it, I could hear it, and like Maddie just couldn't, I guess. And so I would like hear it and be like, oh, and then by the time like I drew attention to it, it would stop. Ugh, gross, don't like that. Anyway, I don't remember what I was talking about. Talking about how hard it is to talk, just me. Also, there's like a reflection of one of these lamps behind me that kind of is giving me like this weird like two prong soul patch type deal. Who's the singer of? Is it Disturbed? Who's got the? Who's got that? Disturbed lead singer David Draymond. Yeah, he's got like the little like piercing chain there that like wraps under his chin. What is that? It's like a piercing soul patch, but it's like two. They're like chin piercings or something. Do they go into his lip or into his chin? I don't know. They go into like the bottom of his lip. But that's kind of what it looks like for me. Ooh, ah, ah. Very odd. Odd fella. Maybe. I don't know. I mean, you have to be a little bit messed and Ned to get a freaking piercing like that. Thanks, Grandpa. Um, I'm tired. It's like 1 a.m. I don't know how long I've been doing this. I'm gonna give it a couple more minutes and then we'll call it. And here's the thing is I didn't run this by Ben at all. I really don't know if this is something that like he's like, "Oh, probably shouldn't do a solo episode on episode 2 of season 4. Aren't we trying to build with this instead of just immediately going back to the same garbage that we were doing before?" But like, look, I don't care. No. I just wanted to get this done just in case, you know? But then that also has a feeling of like, well, do I want to stay up till 1 a.m. to do a just in case that never sees the light of day? I don't know. Could we upload it later if you didn't talk very specifically about specific dates at the very beginning of this? Yeah, probably. Probably could just have this in the hopper as like a prepared episode if I wasn't talking very specifically about the very specific events and times of things happening in my life over the past week. Yeah, I probably could have done that. Oh, wouldn't that have been smart? Oh, thank you. Anyway, I could not figure out, by the way, to do this screen recording with all these stupid little bits and these stupid little um, files, and also record video because I was gonna pull up another video player and have the intro and outro music play, and instead I couldn't figure it out in the 2 seconds it took me to Google it. Um, so instead I just went, wouldn't it be funny if I just played it off my phone? So anyway. Oh, don't start again. Went to start again. Okay, this episode's gonna sound awful. Sorry. Sorry about that. It's gonna sound really bad. But I think it's funny. I don't know. I didn't bring any of my mic stuff with me on this trip. And I forgot that we needed another episode. So sorry.